Coming up, 6 more states hold primary elections for the Democratic nominee. And later we talk about Iowa patient struggles to obtain effective medical cannabis.
How will the coronavirus affect March Madness and other sports? I'll tell you how later on in sports.
We have some pretty nice temperatures coming our way before spring break. Stay tuned for what you can expect to see in this week's upcoming weather.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Emily Callahan. 6 states held primary elections on Mini Super Tuesday yesterday for the Democratic presidential candidate. With a total of 352 delegates among the 3 states, only 3 candidates remain in the race. Former Vice President Joe Biden, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, and Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Last night's results show Biden leading in Mississippi, Missouri, Michigan, and Idaho. Sanders leads in North Dakota, and Washington is still too close to call. Prior to voting, Biden led the race with 664 delegates and Sanders had 503. Gabbard had only 2 delegates. Both Biden and Sanders also had to cancel rallies Tuesday night due to the coronavirus. The candidates were prepared to speak on their plans to handle the virus in contrast with President Trump's administration. All results of the elections are expected to be finalized today. Iowa's medical cannabidiol program allows patients with certain conditions to be prescribed medical cannabis. However, Iowa patients face difficulties acquiring medical cannabis with a high enough THC percentage to ease their pain. To tell us more, we have Daily Iowan reporter Caleb McCullough in the newsroom. Caleb, how has the THC limit affected the treatment of patients?
So the medical marijuana program in Iowa sells products right now that are capped at 3% THC. So while this is can be pretty effective for people who suffer from chronic pain or seizures or any of the other conditions that are qualified for the program. People who suffer from really severe chronic pain, it's just not enough. So I talked to a man who bought a $78 tincture bottle at a dispensary and went through the whole thing in 3 days because it just wasn't enough for him. So for a lot of people, that 3% cap is too low.
And what can be done to ensure effective patient treatment?
So that's kind of the question that's hanging in the air right now, is how to move forward with the program. The Medical Cannabidiol Board, which is the board that governs the program, has recommended that the limit be moved from a 3% strength cap to a limit of 4.5 grams of THC over 90 days. So that would allow for stronger products to be sold, but cap how much people could buy. So the legislature last year passed a bill that set the cap at 25 grams over 90 days, but the governor vetoed it because she wanted to follow the board's recommendation of 4.5 grams. So right now there's a bill in the House that follows the board's recommendation of 4.5 grams, and there's a bill in the Senate that echoes last year's bill of 25 grams. So there's a lot of competing voices as to how it should move forward, and people are trying to find compromise. But the governor has been pretty clear that she wants to stick with that 4.5 grams that the board has recommended.
Thank you, Caleb. That was Daily Iowan reporter Caleb McCullough in the newsroom. To read more about medical cannabis in Iowa, check out our print edition of the news on Stands Now. This morning it was pretty foggy when I was walking over here, but Olivia has more on the weather for us in the weather studio.
Thanks, Emily. It really is a cloudy one today. And if you're like me, you are counting down the days until spring break. But Mother Nature is giving us a roller coaster of weather conditions before we can head off. This morning, we will start our day off with a brisk high of 38 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. And later in the evening, we can expect temperatures to rise to a high of 54. For the remainder of the week, we can anticipate temperatures to remain consistently in the 40s and 50s. Thursday, we have a high of 56 with a 40% chance of rain. Friday, we have a high of 45. On Saturday, we can plan to see a high of 39 and a 20% chance of a wintry rain and snow mix, and a high of 44 on Sunday. Break is almost here, so everyone please be sure to travel safely, especially with the anticipated weather on Saturday. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Olivia. The Iowa City Municipal Airport has received 2 grants to improve its facility and has installed a new flight training simulator for pilots. One grant will go towards the removal of trees surrounding runways, while the other will be used to maintain structural integrity of over 2,000 feet of one of the runways. With the help of local pilots, the airport was able to purchase the FAA-approved simulator, the Redbird Flight Training Simulator, which allows pilots to record training time during less than ideal weather conditions. General Manager of Jet Air Matt Wolford said, quote, "It's a valuable tool for somebody who's trying to learn to fly, but it's also a valuable tool to attract people into the airport because it's not something you can find at any airports within at least an hour drive from here." End quote. The new simulator is open to the public and is often used to show interested high schoolers and college students what it's like to fly during airport tours. The Iowa Office of the Governor has announced 5 more presumptive positive cases of the coronavirus in Iowa, bringing the total to 13. A growing number of colleges and institutions around the United States are canceling in-person classes to prevent the spread of the virus, including institutions such as Ohio State University, who are having students to complete their courses online until at least March 30th. Here in Iowa, Grinnell College has chosen to send some students home after spring break and to finish the semester online to prevent the spread of the virus. In preparation, the Iowa Board of Regents has asked all 3 Regent schools to prepare a plan for online classes. The University of Iowa, Iowa State, and the University of Northern Iowa will release information regarding virtual classes to their students and faculty no later than 8 a.m. on Thursday, March 12th. While the coronavirus has obviously affected academia, it's also had some impacts on sports. Gianna has more for us in the sports studio.
With the recent concerns of the coronavirus going around the world, it has started to take a toll on the world of sports. With March Madness just around the corner, Ivy League schools have canceled both its men's and women's conference basketball tournaments. Yale, which won the league's regular season championship, will be the only team to represent in the men's league in the NCAA tournament, while Princeton will present the women's league. There is still no word yet on whether the rest of the NCAA will follow suit, but fans and others participating in March Madness should take the necessary precautions. While in the Hawkeye world, the Iowa baseball team took on the Kansas Jayhawks yesterday afternoon at Duane Bakes Field and put on a show for the home crowd. Pitchers Hunter Lee and Adam Kettleson pitched a shutout, striking out a combined 11 batters. This is the Hawks' second shutout in the last 4 games. Along with great pitching came great offense. For the Hawks, juniors Isaiah Fillard and Trenton Wallace recorded 3 hit games, and 8 of Iowa's 9 starters recorded at least 1 hit. Iowa would go on to destroy the Jayhawks 8-0. The Hawks play Kansas again this afternoon at Duane Bakes Field at 2 p.m. The number 20 ranked men's tennis team went 2-0 this weekend in their meets against Louisville and number 18 Cornell. The Hawks extended their winning streak to 5 straight matches and improved to 12-2 overall, while also handing Cornell just their 2nd loss of the season. Although number 12 ranked double duo Oliver Okonkwo and Will Davies were edged 7-5 in their match, Iowa won the doubles points and they were able to redeem themselves in singles, with Okonkwo earning his first win over a ranked opponent this season in 3 sets, and Davies extending his own singles winning streak to a career-best 12 wins and winning the meet for the Hawkeyes. The Hawks are back in action on March 20th against Big Ten opponent Minnesota at the Hawkeye Tennis and Recreation Center. The Iowa men's basketball team is in Indianapolis getting ready for the start of the Big Ten tournament. The Hawks will have their first game tomorrow against the winner of Northwestern and Minnesota, who played today. Iowa has beat Minnesota twice this season, along with Northwestern once. But within the Big Ten tournament, anything can happen. If Iowa wants to ensure a win between either the Wildcats or the Golden Gophers, players like Joe Wieskamp and C.J. Frederick will need to step up for the Hawks. Junior Luka Garza has been the only consistent part of Iowa's offense towards the end of the season and will need help down the stretch in tournament play. Iowa will hit the hardwood at roughly 1:30 Central Time on Thursday. Come back tomorrow for a preview of Iowa men's basketball first matchup in the Big Ten tournament. Emily, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Tiana. We're looking forward to some of those Hawkeye sports for sure. Thanks for tuning in to this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to dailyline.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that is enough for Daily Line for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on Stands Now. For DITV News, I'm Emily Callahan. Have a great day, Iowa City.